I played Gal 4 in 2023, and in my humble opinion, I think it's much better than Ragnarok.
Stop the cap! Stop the cap right now! Stop the cap!
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Just let me explain myself. Don't get me wrong there, buddy, but the graphics, combat, story,
Atreus.
and boss fights is for sure better in Ragnarok. But be honest, is there that much of a difference between the both games? Look at the side to side. They kinda look like clones. Obviously, the story is much different in Ragnarok, with Thor and Odin offering Kratos a deal.
So what do you say?
And since Kratos is the savage that he is, he obviously declines that offer.
No.
Which leads to Kratos having to pay Thor a blood payment for killing his sons in Gal 4. Compare this to the story in Gal 4, where Kratos and Atreus adventure off to spread phase ashes on the highest peak of all the 9 realms. But let me get back to my point. The reason why I think Gal 4 was more well made than Ragnarok is because Gal 4 was published in 2018 and Gal Ragnarok was published in late 2022. And even though there is a 4-year gap between the both games, they still are very comparable. And to be honest, I prefer the combat and environments in the 4th game. In my opinion, Sony Santa Monica Studio didn't really improve on much things in Ragnarok. Sure, the boss fights are pretty cool in Ragnarok and you can obtain the Draupnir spear later in the game. But besides that, I think Sony Santa Monica Studio didn't really bring much to the table for such a big company. Maybe it may just be me, or maybe a lot of you agree with me. I don't know. Since I've told you why I think Gal 4 is better, let me tell you my likes and dislikes about it. I'm going to talk about the boss fights, combat, story, graphics, environments, and lastly how Atreus thinks he's invincible.
You are not ready.
What?
Let's get started with the boss fights. I really liked how Baldur showed up at Kratos' house and wanted to smoke as he punched Kratos multiple times after Kratos had warned him.
Leave my home.
I think it was fun fighting Baldur. But I would have to say my favorite boss fight in the game would have to be Magni and Modi. Also because I love the setting the game chose for them. I even love how Magni pulled out his blade and how it was sort of electrifying his chain. And I think Modi's mace and shield is pretty menacing as well. And don't even get me started on how jacked and ripped Magni is. Like, bro's trying to win Mr. Olympia. Overall, Magni and Modi truly seemed like they were sons of Thor. Not some soft Teletubby Kratos can just demolish in half. There were some side bosses in the game that were kinda meh, like Soul Eaters, Stone Ancients, Lava Ancients, Frost Ancients, and Soul Devourers. But at least they were side bosses and not main bosses, so it is what it is. Now let's get into the combat. I think the combat in the 4th game was a huge improvement from the 3rd game, as you can see. One thing I appreciate as a Christian gamer is that they made combat in the 4th game show much less blood and gore compared to the 3rd game, which was just too bloody and brutal.
That is where you are wrong.
But if we are talking about the movesets of Kratos when it comes to combat, I think in the 3rd game compared to the 4th game, there's a massive improvement, especially when it comes down to the graphics and the fire of the Blades of Chaos, and just the effects in general. What about the story? Faye passing away requesting Kratos to spread her ashes on the highest peak of all of the 9 realms. On the way, Kratos and Atreus get pulled over by the mischievous. I guess it's an alright of a story, but I'll let you be the judge of that down in the comment section. Graphics and environments. I think the graphics and the environments in this game were pretty good. For example, Brock and Sindri's shop, Kratos' cabin, the wild woods, and lastly, the bridge where you meet Brock on. Atreus thinking he's ready. In the game, Atreus is around 11 years old, and he thinks he's invincible and undefeatable.
Either you gonna die, we gonna die together. Let's throw these hands!
This is realistic because he's young and bloodthirsty, as he murdered Modi and stabbed a troll over and over while it was dead. Now that I have told you why I appreciate Gal 4 more than Ragnarok and my likes and dislikes about Gal 4, I'm going to give Gal 4 a rating of 7 out of 10. You might be thinking, if you love the game that much, why not a 10? Well, to answer your question, I do like the game, but I'm also comparing it to some of my favorite AAA games, like Dark Souls 3, Witcher 3, and Minecraft. Well, that's my Gal 4 vs Ragnarok video, and I just wanted to say this video took a ton of editing, so if you've made it this far into the video, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.